Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So 2 days ago we saw the conclusion of 2024's The Game Awards, and there was a lot going on there, a lot of gaming news that we're going to cover today, but a lot of it shows that people in the industry have absolutely no connection to what gamers want in the year 2024. And this first story really proves that. So one of the biggest stories for a lot of wrong reasons was the release, the first look at Naughty Dog's Intergalactic. Now, as That Park Place points out in this headline, there is a lot of negativity surrounding this already. Naughty Dog disables comments for Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet trailer, as dislike ratio explodes. Now, there's a lot of issues with this trailer, but one of the biggest sore spots and most obvious ones is right in front of us, but we'll talk about this character in just a second. A lot of people are looking at this like-dislike ratio, and they're smelling blood in the water. I mean, this dislike ratio overtook the like ratio on both trailers within mere hours. And also, as a response to that, the comment section on both of these have been disabled, which is not a very good look. And a lot of people are looking at what's going on with this game, and they're seeing some possible virtue signaling with the choice of main character. And they're saying, is it time to put down Naughty Dog? No pun intended, but we've seen this story play out before, multiple times in the year 2024, in fact, where we have these companies who are just falling off so bad and making choices that show they have no pulse as to what gamers want in the year 2024. And like I said, we're going to be focusing on the main protagonist here, who is causing a lot of head scratching. Yes, in the year 2024, gamers were really pushing for a bald-headed, muscular, sassy minority as the main protagonist in a game. And a lot of people on Twitter will get upset for someone pointing that out, that that's not a good character choice if you want to succeed in the current market, but it's just the reality. A lot of people look at this as virtue signaling. This is just Naughty Dog trying to get some brownie points for including a character like this at the very least, but it also shows that they have no idea what gamers want. There was an interesting story coming out recently about Marvel Rivals, which has succeeded very well since its release, but the creator came out and said, I had no idea whether or not this game was going to succeed. And a lot of gamers looked at Marvel Rivals and they were sure it was going to do well. Maybe not to the level that it did, but it was very obvious. Sometimes the optics make things very clear. If a game looks good, it's probably going to do pretty well. If it has certain very minimal boxes checked for gamers. And a lot of people are looking at this and yeah, they know it's going to go poorly, but that whole anecdote with Marvel Rivals shows that a lot of these creators and these developers, they don't have a sense of what the pulse of the community is, what the pulse of gamers are. They have no idea what gamers actually want. You know, it's very obvious to people who are following these things, but it's not obvious to these people in these high up positions. Maybe it's the result of wokeism, or maybe they're in an echo chamber and it's just they're so disconnected from gamers, but they just don't have a pulse of what gamers actually want. Because if Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann and these parties had any idea what's been going on in the year 2024, they would never release a character like this as the main protagonist. It's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. And again, we got another example too with this character of uglification, where an actress has a character based on her and the character for the game is a downgrade. Like, I'm sorry, the actress looks infinitely better than this character. Like, I don't care how much coping and seething Twitter does. In fact, a lot of people think you're offensive for pointing out this is a downgrade in terms of from the actress to the character based on her. But what I think is really offensive is uglifying these characters. I don't get why female actresses, in particular black women, have this happen all the time. I find that offensive. If you think the late Chud gamers are just mad because this is a minority character, a black woman, that's not it. It's virtue signaling. This design also just isn't very good. Look at the way these Chud racist gamers are responding to Marvel Rivals, which has several black female characters in it. They're thirsting after those characters. They like them because they're well-designed characters. They're not trying to basically be soft and not be too bold with their designs. They want to have these really virtue signal based designs to push whatever they're trying to do here. People are tired of this signaling. It's just exhausting. And speaking of signaling, unfortunately, it looks like the voice actor who's starring in this character is a bit of an activist. Here is an interview with her from pretty recently.
And then as far as with non-binary and transgender, I hope that we just start seeing that the future is here whether we like it or not. We need to not just accept it, but embrace it. Embracing something and seeing not only the beauty of it in it, but the way that it contributes to the world and contributes into the way that anybody of any gender, race, creed, color can form their identity and can walk through the world with pride and their chin up high, like, I think is so important for the generation coming behind us. And then
Awesome. Well, a lot of people might agree with that. A lot of people might want to hear that, but a lot of gamers are going to hear that and identify as non-binary. Okay, a lot of people just don't want to hear any of this, and they smell trouble when they have someone like that who's in the main role of a game where they're playing a character that sounds just like the type of character they would be assigned to, and it's going to be a lot of virtue signaling ahead. But Reddit is not having it. Reddit thinks this is the greatest design ever. In fact, you have this comment saying, straight men will say she's ugly. This is a reference to the fact that they don't actually like women. Now, I saw that one tweet with Sydney Sweeney where a lot of guys are saying she's catfishing when she wasn't wearing makeup. Like, those guys are insane. Like, if you find that unattractive, you are just, I just don't think you like women at that point. But this, I'm going to be real. Sorry, Reddit. I don't think the average straight guy really enjoys muscular, bald women. I don't think that's a controversial thing to say in the year 2024. If you like that, perfect. But I don't think the average straight guy prioritizes those sorts of features in a woman. That's not a very crazy thing to say. But we also saw this tweet where someone, quote unquote, fixed this character. And yeah, it caused a lot of outrage. Literally dozens of threats towards this person. Calls for all kinds of crazy stuff here. But again, I don't know. Put them next to each other and show this to the average gamer and ask them which one they would choose. I think the answer is pretty obvious. But according to Twitter and the vocal minority there, they're all saying this is objectively better. But anyways, a lot of people are just looking at the situation and saying, what happened to Naughty Dog? Neil Druckmann, what have you done to this company? What has happened with the direction of this company? But yeah, that is the situation. Not looking good for this game, which is supposed to be an entire franchise, by the way. But anyways, let's continue to the next bizarre story out of the Game Awards. This announcement right here. AAA cats are here. Catly unveils the most beautiful cat MMO. How did this make it into the Game Awards? Who did they pay and how much did they pay to make this happen? This is so bizarre. Obviously, this is AI. Like, duh. And what is the point of this game exactly, right? Look at this description on Steam. A cat open world with beautiful cats, hyper realism, actions, cuddle, speed, islands, fashion, dreams, snow, robots, plants, all with and via cats. Did this person have a stroke while they were writing this description? What does this even mean? Did they just like pick random terms and just add them all together and then say, with cats? Like, this is very bizarre, but you look at their tweets regarding this game that they're promoting here, Catly, the official Catly account, showing off here. You can see they have 283 likes with 6.3 million views. I think if that happened to me on Twitter, I'd just pack it up. That'd be it. There's no way. That is just brutal, the amount of likes versus views, and all the comments are just ripping this game and whatever studio's developing this apart. And all the hidden replies are people pointing out this is likely made with AI. I don't think that's really a jump here, a big conclusion to make. Sometimes we see art and stuff on Twitter where it's really hard to tell if it's actually AI since a lot of these programs are getting pretty good. But this is just like, come on, dude. Like, be for real here. But the next story here involves the Game of the Year winner, which this year was Astrobot. Now, basically, there's only two reactions to this, okay? There's people happy that Astrobot won, and then there's people who are saying Black Myth Wukong got snubbed. It pretty much depends on who you are. It's going to be one of those two camps you're going to fall into. And I understand the Black Myth Wukong fans feeling like they got snubbed here, but of all the games that I got beaten out by, at least it was Astrobot. It wasn't like Veilguard or some other slop that was being pushed by the industry. But the weird thing to come out of this is that Chinese players in retaliation are review bombing Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, interesting choice. So basically what I would assume happened here is that these Chinese fans are mad that Wukong lost because it was developed by a Chinese studio, and Astrobot is not on Steam, so they found a different target. Basically, Baldur's Gate 3 caught some strays here for seemingly no reason. Like, this unironically sucks. Like, what did Baldur's Gate 3 do to deserve a dislike bombing because of this Game of the Year competition? It's totally irrelevant. They just found another game to go after, and it happens to be one that is a very big hit among people and very well respected, and now it's getting dislike bombed for absolutely no reason. Just very bizarre stuff. But as we're talking about Game of the Year here, I really enjoyed this section. I'm glad Craig shared this. It's a conversation about like what makes a game a good game, and this man's going to be sitting here telling us what constitutes Game of the Year. What studio? He talked to an oracle, and this is what the oracle had to say about the characteristics of the studio who developed this year's Game of the Year.
The oracle told me that the Game of the Year 2025 was going to be made by a studio who found the formula to make it up here on stage. It's stupidly simple, but somehow it keeps on getting lost. Studio made their game because they wanted to make a game that they wanted to play themselves. They created it because it hadn't been created before. They didn't make it to increase market share. They didn't make it to serve as a brand. They didn't have to meet arbitrary sales targets or fear being laid off if they didn't meet those targets. And furthermore, the people in charge forbade them from cramming the game with anything whose only purpose was to increase revenue and didn't serve the game design. They didn't treat their developers like numbers on a spreadsheet. They didn't treat their players as users to exploit. And they didn't make decisions they knew were short-sighted and function of a bonus or politics. They knew that if you put the game and the team first, the revenue will follow. They were driven by idealism and wanted players to have fun. And they realized that if the developers didn't have fun, nobody was going to have any fun.
Wow. Did you guys hear that? That is the very complicated formula on making a good game that's going to generate a lot of revenue. Give gamers what they want. Make something gamers want. Make something new, innovative, something that's fun for you, something that you enjoy working on and playing yourself, and also making decisions that are not about bottom line or inserting something to get a bonus or to share your politics. Just make something fun, and the revenue will come with it. I know, mind-shattering, but this is the simple lesson that is what makes games successful. And it's so crazy to see all these studios ignore this and ironically chase money and agenda and all sorts of things, and then they end up losing all their money anyways. It's a complete joke. But there's a couple more things we want to talk about here. Content Creator of the Year was announced, and the winner was KSO, which not too surprising, but of course, Pecora heads, we lost. Unfortunate time, and someone please check on Hideo Kojima. The man is not doing well, but in case you didn't know, he's a huge Pecora fan, but yeah, wish she won, but it is what it is. I'm just glad she was nominated in the first place, to be honest with you, but there's one other thing I'm going to cover that happened in the Game Awards. This is very bizarre. One of many bizarre things that have happened, but this is a crazy thread. If you want to check out this full thread, it's quite long, but basically this individual points out that the Game Awards featured a wildly insincere moment they called the Game Changers Award, and this man would go on stage. Now, I have this shortened kind of TLDR from Madam Savvy here, where basically this guy who is presented as like this humble nobody in the scene is actually an executive at Tencent. And on top of that, he is basically in charge of acquisitions, IP acquisitions. So what he does is he comes in, helps acquire these companies, and then typically what follows is massive layoffs, thousands of people losing their jobs. This guy is an enemy of everyone in that room, and they were all applauding him. Whether it's ignorance or they're just that brainwashed or feel like they don't have a choice, It's a very bizarre thing to see. I don't know why they pulled this off, because it was so strange, and people figured out who this guy was pretty quickly, and that he's not just some humble guy. He's the guy who is trashing and helped trashing the industry and making these giant monoliths of companies and running people from the industry out of a job. It's just a very bizarre thing, but overall, that was the Game Awards of 2024. There's some other stuff that happened, but I just want to hit those key ones right there. And for now, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.